A Mortal's Journey to Immortality Episode 204. In the previous episode, Han Li narrowly escaped the deadly trap within the Jadepier Pavilion as chaos erupted behind him. Meanwhile, the surviving cultivators, Old Man Yun, Wang Tiangu, and their companions, regrouped, plotting their next move after Marquis Nanlong's sudden display of power. They debated alliances, wary of the Heavenpeak Sect's influence. Yet their greed for the secrets of Devilfall Valley still bound them together. Back at the ruins, Wang Tiangu discovered his nephew, Wang Chan, gravely injured, his legs severed and tainted by a strange black qi that even advanced healing arts couldn't mend. Realizing Han Li's mysterious power, Wang Tiangu collected a sample of the dark energy, determined to uncover its nature. As they turned to free their frozen ally, fellow Daoist Long, they witnessed a horrifying scene. The strange blue ice that sealed his body devoured every attempt to melt it. When Long's nascent soul finally broke free, it desperately tried to escape through self-immolation, but the blue flames consumed it entirely, erasing both body and soul. And the story continues. Through use of lightning movement, Han Li was able to travel 50 kilometers in a single stretch. Then, pausing briefly to regain his bearings, he changed his technique, swapping to the blood-red cloak that turned him into a streak of crimson light darting across the sky. After flying another 500 kilometers, he spotted a large Molan tribe settlement below, tens of thousands of mortals moving in groups across the plains. Excitement flickered in his heart. Back at the Drifting Cloud Sect, he had once heard discussions among the elders about the war between the Molan spell warriors and the cultivators of the Heavenly South. Although the ordinary Molan mortals could not cultivate spiritual techniques, they still played a role in war. During campaigns, the Molan spell warriors often organized these mortals into temporary parties, using them to seize spirit stone mines and material resources left unguarded by the Heavenly South cultivators. Because the cultivators were focused on the main battlefront, these mortals could plunder freely. The Molan never returned empty-handed, and though the Nine Nations Union knew of this looting, they could do little to stop it. If they stationed too few cultivators, those guards could easily be slaughtered by high-ranking Molan spell warriors. If they stationed too many, it would weaken their own front lines. So they simply turned a blind eye. Once the war shifted, they would retake those areas later, though it often meant massacring the Molan mortals left behind. But the Molan didn't care. For them, mortal lives were expendable. When one group died, they simply sent another. Now, hovering silently in the sky, Han Li saw long lines of ox carts making their way south. Young men and women walked alongside them, a mobile division of mortals gathering resources for the Molan. He extended his spiritual sense, sweeping over the entire column. Among the thousands of mortals, he detected one Foundation Establishment cultivator and 3 at Qi condensation stage, all low-level spell warriors assigned to oversee the caravan. Han Li lowered his gaze thoughtfully. Then, forming a quick hand seal, his figure blurred, vanishing and reappearing beside an old, dilapidated ox cart filled with tattered hides and worn tools. With a casual wave of his arm, he turned its contents into ash, and without hesitation, sat inside. He had made his decision, returning directly to the Heavenly South now, while the Molan spell warriors were on full alert. Would be too dangerous, alone, without the other nascent soul cultivators who had accompanied him before. Even he could fall prey to one of the Molan's top-ranked spell warriors. Hiding among a caravan of mortals, however, would be far safer. Few would pay any attention to such a group, and with his cultivation, unless a late nascent soul spell warrior inspected them personally, his presence would remain perfectly hidden. Once he crossed the desert beyond the Molan plains, he'd be free of their influence and could safely return home. As he meditated quietly within the cart, the voices of the Molan mortals drifted in from outside. Their language was different from that of the Heavenly South, but Han Li understood it easily. He had studied several jade slips containing their dialects and mastered them with his spiritual sense in just a few days. They spoke of the mission, wondering how much they could gather to please their grand sages, hoping to earn praise and rise above their peers. From their tone, it was clear they viewed the spell warriors as divine beings. worthy of reverence and even worship. Many believed it was an honor to die in their service. Han Li sighed quietly and, with a flick of his wrist, cast a faint azure barrier around the cart, sealing it off from sound. The outside world fell silent. Then, he called out softly, "Silvermoon, how about you tell me what you've gained? From your excitement, it seems you've found quite a few treasures." His sleeve stirred, and a small white fox fluttered out, landing gracefully in front of him. Silvermoon's eyes sparkled. "I'm not entirely sure how valuable these items are," she said with a sly grin. "But you should be able to tell. Master, on the first floor, there were many ancient treasures. But I didn't take any. Their spiritual chi was too strong, I couldn't hide it while moving. Instead, I explored the second floor, where I found 6 ancient jade boxes. I took half of them, 3. She giggled lightly. "I wanted to take more, but that would have drawn suspicion. This way, no one will notice." With that, she spat out 3 translucent jade boxes, placing them neatly before Han Li. Han Li then took out another jade box, the one the Marquis had given him earlier, and compared them. They were identical in appearance. A faint smile curved his lips. "So, Master Kang Kun left behind a total of 6 jade boxes. And now I possess 4 of them. It seems my decision to go was indeed correct." Silvermoon let out a small sigh, still trembling slightly from the memory. "Master, your courage was remarkable. With so many nascent soul cultivators present, you dared to act in secret, and even sent me ahead first. Weren't you afraid of being discovered?" Han Li chuckled softly, glancing at her. What was there to fear? At worst, I could have used blood shadow evasion to escape. Besides, I was nearly certain it would work. When I used spiritual light to conceal your entry, no one noticed a thing. My only worry was that you might fail to hide yourself after taking the boxes, but it seems your evasion techniques exceeded my expectations. Silvermoon laughed modestly. "You flatter me, Master. While my clan's evasion arts are powerful, the key was concealing the jade box's spiritual chi within my body. Still, had one of those old monsters truly focused their senses, I'm not sure I could have escaped unseen." Han Li smiled again, not pressing the point. Instead, he turned his attention to the jade boxes before him. Azure light shimmered from his palm as he placed it atop the first box. The box absorbed the light smoothly, glowing faintly in response. With a soft click, the lid opened, revealing a blue jade slip resting inside. Han Li took a deep breath and picked it up carefully, pressing it to his forehead as he immersed his spiritual sense within. Silvermoon waited anxiously, eyes full of curiosity. Minutes passed in silence. Han Li's expression remained calm, unreadable. Finally, his eyes flickered, and he withdrew his spiritual sense. After a moment of silent contemplation, he tucked the jade slip away without a word and reached for the next box. Silvermoon's tail twitched, but she said nothing. Using the same technique, Han Li opened the second box. Inside was a small, jet black ring, its surface dull, without the faintest gleam of spiritual light. Silvermoon tilted her head, surprised. "Is that an ancient treasure?" Han Li studied it, frowning slightly. "It doesn't seem to be. There's very little spiritual chi. It's likely just a common magic tool." He turned it over in his hand several times, probing it with his spiritual sense, then said decisively, "The material is unusual, but I can't determine its use yet." Silvermoon's ears drooped slightly. "So it's only a magic tool?" Han Li remained calm. "Don't worry, since Master Kang Kun sealed it inside one of these jade boxes. It must serve a special purpose. Perhaps it will prove valuable later." Silvermoon's eyes lit up again. Her curiosity reignited. She tilted her head and said with excitement, "Master, how about taking a look at what's inside the other 2 boxes?" And that wraps up this episode. In this part, we saw Han Li traversing vast distances using his lightning movement and blood-red cloak, carefully making his way across the Molan Plains while avoiding detection from powerful spell warriors and rival cultivators. He demonstrated both caution and precision, hiding among a caravan of mortals to remain unnoticed, and skillfully using his immense spiritual sense to scan the surroundings for any threats. We also saw Han Li retrieving several jade boxes left behind by Master Kang Kun. A task that required not only courage but careful planning. With the help of Silvermoon, his faithful companion, he secured 3 of these precious boxes. As Han Li opened them, he began to uncover their secrets. A blue jade slip containing unknown but potentially valuable knowledge. And a mysterious jet black ring, whose function and true potential remain a puzzle. This part of the episode emphasized Han Li's strategic mind and foresight, showing that his victories are not only about strength, but also about intelligence, patience, and careful observation. Beyond the action and treasure, this episode also gives us a glimpse into the harsh realities of the Molan Plains. The expendability of mortal lives during wartime, and the careful calculations required to navigate such a dangerous world. Han Li's decision to disguise himself among ordinary mortals highlights his ability to balance risk and reward, demonstrating that even small, subtle choices can be critical to survival and success. If you enjoyed this episode or found it exciting, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel to receive the latest updates on the upcoming episodes of Han Li's journey. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next adventure, as Han Li continues to uncover treasures and face new challenges.